Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about something that's very personal to me, emotional exhaustion. I've been there, done that, and got the t-shirt. And I know I'm not alone. Many of us struggle with feeling emotionally drained, depleted, and just plain exhausted. But before we dive in, I want to take a moment to acknowledge the courage it takes to talk about mental health. It's not always easy, but it's necessary. Because when we share our stories, we build connections, and we heal. I remember a time when I felt completely emotionally drained. I had been going through a difficult period in my life, and I felt like I was running on empty. Every day felt like a struggle, and I couldn't seem to find the energy to do even the simplest tasks. I felt like I was drowning in my emotions, and I didn't know how to keep my head above water. I felt anxious, depressed, and completely alone. I didn't know how to reach out for help, or even if I wanted to. In the depths of my soul, I found myself drowning in a sea of emotions, each wave crashing against me, pulling me deeper into a vortex of despair. The weight of the world felt heavy on my shoulders, dragging me down to a place where darkness reigned supreme. I smiled on the outside, but inside, I was crumbling. The facade I wore became heavier by the day, masking the cracks in my heart and soul. Keeping up appearances became an exhausting act, draining me of the little energy I had left. But in the midst of this emotional storm, I found solace in the kindness of others. A gentle touch, a listening ear, a comforting word. These small gestures became my lifelines in the vast sea of sorrow. They reminded me that I was not alone, that my pain was seen and acknowledged. One day I found myself sitting on the floor of my room surrounded by tears and tissues. I felt like I had hit rock bottom, and I didn't know how to climb back up. But as I sat there, something inside of me shifted. I realized that I wasn't alone, and that there were people who cared about me and wanted to help. I realized that it was okay to not be okay, and that it was okay to ask for help. The depths of my soul, I found myself drowning in a sea of emotions, each wave crashing against me, pulling me deeper into a vortex of despair. The weight of the world felt heavy on my shoulders, dragging me down to a place where darkness reigned supreme. I smiled on the outside, but inside I was crumbling. The facade I wore became heavier by the day, masking the cracks in my heart and soul. Keeping up appearances became an exhausting act, draining me of the little energy I had left. But in the midst of this emotional storm, I found solace in the kindness of others. A gentle touch, a listening ear, a comforting word. These small gestures became my lifelines in the vast sea of sorrow. They reminded me that I was not alone, that my pain was seen and acknowledged. Slowly, ever so slowly, I began to heal. The wounds in my heart started to mend, one tiny piece at a time. The darkness that once consumed me began to lift, replaced by a glimmer of hope that shone brighter with each passing day. I slowly started to reach out to friends and family, and I started to seek professional help. It wasn't easy, but it was worth it. I started to feel like myself again, and I started to see that there was hope for a better tomorrow. I learned that it's okay to be emotionally drained, to feel lost and broken. It's all a part of the journey of healing and self-discovery. And as I emerged from the depths of my despair, I knew that I was stronger, more resilient, and capable of weathering any storm that came my way. Looking back, I realized that feeling emotionally drained was one of the hardest experiences of my life. But it was also one of the most transformative. It taught me the importance of self-care, the value of seeking help, and the power of resilience. I hope that my story can help you feel less alone and more inspired to take care of yourself. Remember, you are not alone, and there is always hope for a better tomorrow. So, if you're feeling emotionally exhausted, know that you're not alone. And if you're not feeling emotionally exhausted, know that someone you love might be. So, let's dive in and explore this topic together. What is emotional exhaustion? So, what is emotional exhaustion? Simply put, it's when we're feeling overwhelmed, depleted, and just plain exhausted. It's like our emotional tank is empty and we can't seem to refill it. Emotional exhaustion can be caused by stress, anxiety, trauma, burnout, and even just plain old life. It can manifest physically, emotionally, and behaviorally. We might feel tired, irritable, or just plain numb. We might withdraw from social interactions, or we might become overly dependent on others. Emotional exhaustion can also affect our relationships, our work, and our overall well-being. It can make us feel like we're just going through the motions, like we're just existing, but not really living. But here's the thing. Emotional exhaustion is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that we need to take care of ourselves, that we need to prioritize our own emotional well-being. If you've ever felt so drained and depleted that even the simplest tasks can feel overwhelming, you may know a thing or two about emotional exhaustion. Unlike ordinary tiredness, which can be resolved with a good night's sleep, emotional exhaustion saps your energy, enthusiasm, and passion. It's a signal from your body and mind that life is out of balance and can have profound implications for your overall wellness. Emotional exhaustion is feeling overwhelmingly tired or worn out, and not just in the physical sense. It's an emotional and mental fatigue that accumulates over time, often resulting from prolonged exposure to stress or emotional strain. This condition can make you feel like you're just going through the motions of your daily life, disconnected from the experiences and activities that once brought you joy and satisfaction. While sleeping more or taking a break might alleviate normal physical tiredness, it's unlikely to work for emotional exhaustion. The root causes are deeper and more complex, typically linked to ongoing stress, unresolved emotional issues, or unrelenting demands in your personal or professional life. Ignoring emotional exhaustion can cause symptoms to worsen, affecting your mental health, physical health, relationships, and quality of life. By understanding what emotional exhaustion is and recognizing its signs, you can take steps to manage it and help prevent it from becoming more severe. Let's dive into some of the most common aspects of emotional exhaustion. First, we will start with depression. Depression is a complex and multifaceted mental health disorder that affects millions of people worldwide. It is a condition characterized by persistent feelings of sadness, hopelessness, and a lack of interest in activities that were once enjoyed. Depression can affect anyone, regardless of their age, background, or socioeconomic status. According to the World Health Organization, WHO, depression is the leading cause of disability worldwide, affecting over 300 million people. In the United States alone, it is estimated that over 17 million adults experience depression each year. Despite its prevalence, depression remains a widely misunderstood condition, often stigmatized and trivialized. One of the most significant challenges in understanding depression is its complexity. Depression is not simply a matter of feeling sad or blue. Rather, it is a condition that affects every aspect of a person's life, from their relationships and work to their physical health and overall well-being. There are several different types of depression, each with its unique characteristics and symptoms. Major depressive disorder, MDD, is the most common type of depression, characterized by persistent feelings of sadness and hopelessness. Dysthymia, or persistent depressive disorder, is a type of depression that lasts for 2 years or more. Postpartum depression is a type of depression that affects women after childbirth. Seasonal affective disorder, SAD, is a type of depression that occurs during the winter months. Depression can be caused by a combination of genetic, environmental, and psychological factors. Traumatic events, such as the loss of a loved one or a job, can trigger depression. Chronic stress, anxiety, and other mental health conditions can also contribute to depression. Additionally, certain medical conditions, such as thyroid disorders and chronic pain, can increase the risk of depression. The symptoms of depression can vary from person to person, but common symptoms include persistent feelings of sadness and hopelessness, changes in appetite and sleep patterns, fatigue, difficulty concentrating, and social withdrawal. People with depression may also experience physical symptoms, such as headaches and stomach problems. Depression can have a significant impact on a person's quality of life. It can affect relationships, work performance, and overall well-being. People with depression may struggle to maintain relationships, as they may withdraw from social interactions and have difficulty expressing their emotions. Depression can also affect work performance, as people may struggle to concentrate and complete tasks. Despite the challenges of depression, there are many effective treatments available. Medications, such as antidepressants, can help to alleviate symptoms of depression. Psychotherapy, such as cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, can help people to develop coping strategies and change negative thought patterns. Lifestyle changes, such as regular exercise and healthy eating, can also help to manage symptoms of depression. In addition to these treatments, there are many things that people can do to manage their depression. Practicing self-care, such as getting enough sleep and engaging in relaxing activities, can help to reduce symptoms of depression. Building a support network of friends and family can also provide emotional support and help people to feel less isolated. It's essential to recognize that depression is not a sign of weakness, and seeking help is a sign of strength. People with depression should not be afraid to seek help, as there are many effective treatments available. In conclusion, depression is a complex and multifaceted mental health disorder that affects millions of people worldwide. It is a condition characterized by persistent feelings of sadness, hopelessness, and a lack of interest in activities that were once enjoyed. Depression can affect anyone, regardless of their age, background, or socioeconomic status. While depression can have a significant impact on a person's quality of life, there are many effective treatments available. Medications, psychotherapy, and lifestyle changes can all help to alleviate symptoms of depression. It's essential to recognize that depression is not a sign of weakness, and seeking help is a sign of strength. If you or someone you know is experiencing depression, it's essential to seek help. Talk to a mental health professional, a trusted friend or family member, or call a helpline. Remember, depression is not something to be ashamed of, and seeking help is the first step towards recovery. Second, let's look at anxiety. Anxiety is generally described as a psychological condition which brings about distinct detrimental physiological responses which is caused as a result of various external stimuli in the form of stressors which destabilize a person's normal mental state. In other words, it is a condition with physical, mental, emotional, behavioral, and cognitive effects brought by a variety of external events or factors which have a detrimental effect on a person's well-being. What must be understood is that most individuals feel varying types of anxiety over the course of their life. It is a natural response to tense, stressful, or otherwise difficult situations, which helps an individual concentrate more, develop a clearer picture of a situation, and overall enables them to perform better than they otherwise would have. It is characterized by elevated blood pressure, shortness of breath, feelings of nervousness, restlessness, and repetitive thoughts regarding particular actions. When examining relevant literature on the topic, it can be seen that most experts agree that anxiety responses evolved as a method of coping with unavoidable or inevitable situations, wherein a greater degree of concentration, motivation, as well as focus was needed in order to overcome the inevitable event or situation. What must be understood is that developing a certain case of anxiety after a particular event or problem is completely normal and within the bounds of average human behavior. What is abnormal, though, is if a person develops prolonged symptoms of anxiety which prevent them from functioning normally as a direct result of psychological stressors, which manifests in distinct aberrant forms of emotional outbursts, behavioral responses, or physical actions which are far from what can be considered normal behavior. Anxiety disorders. It must be noted that while anxiety is a common human attribute, anxiety disorders are not and are characterized by their debilitating physiological and psychological effects, which hinder an individual's ability to function normally. The 5 main types of anxiety disorders are classified as follows. 1. Generalized anxiety disorder. 2. Obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD. 3. Panic disorder. 4. Post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. 5. Social phobia or social anxiety disorder. What must be understood is that anxiety disorders are physiological and psychological manifestations of the effects stressors have on the body. In average cases where anxiety is present, people feel varying degrees of nervousness, apprehension, and the desire to accomplish a task and get it over with. In the case of anxiety disorders, the manifestation of symptoms take on far more debilitating effects, such as trouble concentrating, restlessness, sleeping disorders, depression, flashbacks of traumas, chest pains, and even cases where panic attacks ensure which debilitate a person's ability to act in a rational manner. Another factor that should be taken into consideration is the fact that, unlike normal cases of anxiety, the symptoms associated with anxiety disorders do not go away after a short period of time, but rather remain for differing extended periods of time. This results in continued physical and mental stress being placed on the body, which can, and often do, result in deteriorating health conditions for individuals who possesses varying types of anxiety disorders. Vulnerability to developing anxiety disorders. What must be understood is that not all individuals develop anxiety disorders or, for that matter, develop the same type of anxiety disorders. As mentioned earlier, external stressors play a distinct role in creating and maintaining anxiety within individuals. However, this particular factor is inherently dependent on a person's lifestyle, job, living environment, economic situation, as well as social condition. Economic conditions. Various studies examining the development of anxiety disorders within particular individuals have shown that a person's inherent economic condition has an adverse effect on the amount of stressors they receive, thus facilitating the development of various forms of anxiety disorders. During the height of the recent U.S. financial recession, it was shown that individuals experiencing job loss, home foreclosure, and a variety of negative economic situations experienced elevated levels of stress and, as a direct result, developed distinct anxiety disorders. It is assumed that problems in relation to personal finances, as well as the low job market, acted as sufficient stressors, which resulted in the development of elevated anxiety levels, resulting in distinct anxiety disorders. In fact, numerous studies conducted over the years have shown that individuals experiencing negative economic conditions were more at risk in developing anxiety disorders as compared to individuals who were financially well off. In cases such as this, it can be assumed that economic conditions act as greater stressors, which result in an increased possibility in developing anxiety disorders as compared to ordinary stressors in a person's life. Working conditions. Another factor that should be taken into consideration when examining vulnerabilities towards the development of anxiety disorders is the daily conditions a person experiences while working. Studies examining the prevalence of anxiety disorders as a direct result of work-place environments show that the more stressful a job is, the greater the prevalence of anxiety disorders within the worker population. An examination of the call center industry in particular showed that the prevalence of anxiety disorders among the worker populace is greater as compared to other industries due to the sheer amount of verbal abuse agents receive on a daily basis. The difference in the development of anxiety disorders in this case, as compared to economic stressors, is the sheer repetition of anxiety causing situations on a daily basis, as compared to relatively few events that occur as a direct result of economic problems. It is due to this that work-based anxiety disorders are among the most prevalent in the general population and account for more than half of current cases in the global population today. Living environments. Living environments should also be taken into consideration when examining the development of certain types of anxiety disorders. Various studies examining the correlation between anxiety and its prevalence among local communities showed that individuals living with inner-city neighborhoods, namely some of the oldest sections of the city, where crime and poverty are the most prevalent, show greater degrees of daily anxiety pressures as compared to individuals who come from suburbs or gated communities. It is thought that the greater amounts of security and safety people feel from living in suburbs and gated communities directly contributes to reducing the number of environmental stressors they feel as compared to individuals who deal with poverty and crime on a daily basis. It must also be noted that the level of danger in various inner-city neighborhoods is greater due to extent of crime, and as such facilitates greater anxiety levels when traveling on a daily basis. Biological predisposition. Aside from the effects of external stressors, it has been determined that certain individuals actually have an inherent predisposition towards anxiety and the development of anxiety disorders. Various studies examining the behavioral characteristics of infants and their comparative behaviors when they reach a state of adolescence reveal that people with a more sensitive nucleus accumbens reach a state of anxiety or development anxiety disorders far faster and with a greater degree of prevalence as compared to individuals with a far less sensitive nucleus accumbens. While there have yet to be studies to determine how such genetic differences occurred over the course of several generations within the current population group, it is assumed that individuals with a more sensitive nucleus accumbens developed this trait as a direct result of environmental characteristics that have yet to be precisely determined. Conclusion. Based on the various facts, it can be seen that while anxiety is a common human behavioral condition, the development of anxiety disorders are not and are a direct result of various external stressors. It is based on this that it can be advised that in order to avoid developing acute forms of anxiety disorders, it is recommended to avoid lifestyles choices, jobs, and environments that have been noted in this paper as being primary causes towards the development of such a detrimental physiological and psychological condition. So, how do we recognize the signs of emotional exhaustion? Well, for me, it was when I started feeling like I was just going through the motions. I was waking up, going to work, coming home, and going to bed, but I wasn't really living. I was feeling numb, disconnected, and just plain empty. I was also experiencing physical symptoms like headaches and stomach aches. And I was withdrawing from social interactions because I just didn't have the energy. But recognizing the signs of emotional exhaustion is just the first step. We also need to acknowledge and accept it. We need to say to ourselves, yes, I'm feeling emotionally exhausted, and that's okay. Because when we acknowledge and accept our emotional exhaustion, we can start to take steps to heal. We can start to prioritize our own emotional well-being, and we can start to take care of ourselves. These are some of the signs that may help you know that you may be experiencing emotional exhaustion. 1. You are easily irritated. You are getting affected by smallest of things lately. You find negativity all around you, and any minute negativity irritate you. You lose your temper easily. As days go by, you feel hopeless. The inability and the lack of power make you feel more and more irritated. Unfortunately, this can mean you take your frustrations out on those closest to you, those who probably don't deserve it. 2. You are always feeling low and lack motivation in your life. You always feel that something bad is going to happen. You have lost faith in life and there's nothing that can motivate you to move on. You feel like you're incapable of getting the work done. You struggle to find the motivation you need. The goals that once stimulated you to work hard are not enough. This is especially difficult to contend with when you're at the workplace or school, since there are inevitably due dates for various tasks or assignments. But if you are not motivated to get to those tasks, you won't get them done on time, so they'll accumulate, which will make you procrastinate more. This can result in you failing classes or getting warnings at work. But if you're feeling numb, You really won't care much about that, will you? 3. You experience fits of anxiety quite often. As a result of your overexhaustion, you feel more and more stressed than usual. Anxiety attacks are becoming a daily routine. You get worried unnecessarily. You are anxious at slightest of things. 4. You can't sleep properly. You often feel like you are out of the place. The overwhelming feeling of exhaustion makes it harder for you to calm your thoughts and fall asleep, and insomnia becomes just another thing on the list. You are so very, very tired all the time, and all you want to do is sleep, but you can't. Why? Because your thoughts are racing at top speed and you can't break the loop. Just as you start to drift off, some worry will intrude and knock you back into wakefulness, so you can't get that much needed rest, which compounds the fatigue that's already draining you dry. 5. You sense a kind of detachment. You don't feel you're attached to anyone or anything anymore. Nothing affects you. You don't feel good or bad. It's like you are just a body without any emotion. You've gone numb. Whatever it is that you're dealing with has drained your light to the point where you literally can't feel the emotions you'd normally feel when you encounter a situation or subject. This is sort of like depression, only instead of feeling weighed down by emotion, you're weighed down by the absence thereof. 6. You cry for no reason at all. If you're at the point where having toothpaste fall off your toothbrush first thing in the morning is enough to bring you to a bout of hysterical weeping, that's not good at all. When we're exhausted both physically and mentally, we pretty much lose the strength to cope with challenging situations, and regular day-to-day stress is intensified. It's totally understandable that you've probably found yourself crying in front of colleagues, friends, or even random strangers. 7. You feel dizzy and nauseous. Feeling of nausea and dizziness are signs that you need rest, and it should be your primary priority. These things happen because you are so stressed out that your body can't take it anymore and is suffering a breakdown. Whenever a person experiences a mental breakdown, this naturally manifests physically as well. This is especially true if you're the sort of person who carries stress in your belly, or if you clench your muscles subconsciously to brace against whatever is hurting you. 8. You're constantly tired. Fatigue is something different from just regular tiredness. We can be exhausted after a few days' worth of partying, but that kind of exhaustion can be remedied with a couple of nights' worth of decent sleep. Fatigue can't. When you're suffering from fatigue, it doesn't matter if you sleep 20 hours a day or drink 30 coffees in the span of a few hours. You will still be tired to the very marrow in your bones. This isn't just an occasional thing. This level of energy is your default setting right now. It just never seems to end. So what can we do to cope with emotional exhaustion? Well, for me, it was about finding healthy coping mechanisms and self-care strategies. I started practicing mindfulness and meditation. I started exercising regularly. I started journaling and writing, and I started spending time in nature. While it's not always possible, once you've identified the cause of your mental or emotional exhaustion, see if you can reduce or remove it. Can you delegate some of your work tasks or get more help with household tasks? Work a break into your schedule. A vacation is ideal, but shorter blocks of time can help too. Take a full hour away from your desk at lunchtime, clear an evening and spend time with friends, or simply take every non-urgent task off of your calendar for a few days so you can recharge. Avoid or limit napping. When you're feeling tired or exhausted, you might want to cope by resting, but too much daytime sleep can make it hard to get the restorative rest you need at night. Practice gratitude. Gratitude can combat the negative thoughts you're likely to experience when you are feeling mentally or emotionally exhausted. You can keep a gratitude journal or take a minute to think about something you're grateful for. Build resilience. People who are emotionally well, experts say, have fewer negative emotions and are able to bounce back from difficulties faster. This quality is called resilience. Learning healthy ways to cope and how to draw from resources in your community can help you build resilience. Be mindful. The concept of mindfulness is simple. This ancient practice is about being completely aware of what's happening in the present, of all that's going on inside and all that's happening around you. It means not living your life on autopilot. Becoming a more mindful person requires commitment and practice. Here are some tips to help you get started. Take a walk, ideally outside. Exercise doesn't have to be a hardcore weight workout or a cycling class that leaves you dripping in sweat. Gentler forms of physical activity can boost your mood, strengthen social connections. Social connections might help protect health and lengthen life. Scientists are finding that our links to others can have powerful effects on our health, both emotionally and physically. Whether with romantic partners, family, friends, neighbors, or others, social connections can influence our biology and well-being. Choose healthy foods and drink plenty of water. When you're feeling low, you may reach for high-carb, high-fat comfort foods. But a balanced diet is better for your mental health. I also learned to say no, set boundaries, and prioritize my own needs. And I learned to seek support from friends, family, and mental health professionals. Because let's face it, we can't do it alone. We need support, we need love, and we need care. We need people who can listen, who can validate our feelings, and who can offer support and guidance. Here are some more mechanisms that you might as well use to cope with emotional exhaustion. 1. Self-care practices. Engaging in activities that promote physical and emotional wellness, such as exercise, meditation, and hobbies, can help recharge emotional reserves. 2. Social support. Connecting with friends, family, or colleagues can provide emotional relief, reassurance, and a sense of belonging. 3. Time management. Prioritizing tasks and setting boundaries can help reduce feelings of being overwhelmed and increase productivity. 4th, mindfulness and relaxation techniques. Practices such as deep breathing, yoga, and mindfulness meditation can reduce stress and improve mental clarity. Seeking professional help. Consulting with therapists or counselors can provide strategies to manage emotional exhaustion and address underlying issues. 6. Reevaluating goals and expectations. Reflecting on personal and professional goals can help individuals adjust their expectations to be more realistic and attainable. 7. Engaging in meaningful activities. Focusing on projects or areas of work that are fulfilling can help reestablish a sense of purpose and motivation. 8. Limiting negative influences. Reducing exposure to stressors such as negative relationships or toxic work environments can decrease emotional fatigue. Let's take a look at the way we can seek support and to build a support network. Seeking support is crucial when it comes to emotional exhaustion. We need people who can listen, who can validate our feelings, and who can offer support and guidance. We need people who can help us feel less alone, less isolated, and less stigmatized. So, don't be afraid to reach out to friends, family, or mental health professionals. Don't be afraid to join a support group or online community. And don't be afraid to talk about your feelings, your struggles, and your triumphs. Make a call, send a text, visit a friend. Connecting with others can make a huge difference. Being vulnerable can be tough, but talking about our problems can be the first step in grounding ourselves during uncertain times. None of us wants to admit our weaknesses to anyone, let alone people we know. However, psychologists believe that in order for us to be able to process our emotions, we must connect with others. Being vulnerable means having the bravery to be present and visible. When we are vulnerable, we create intimacy with our peers, which in turn produces a more secure network for sharing emotions and receiving feedback, care, and strength from others during difficult times. Creating a safe space for intimacy to flourish requires individuals to take responsibility for personal safety and nurture a sense of security within the relationship. We do this by practicing acceptance and compassion for ourselves, which will then naturally extend to others. Attachment theory teaches us that the impulse to seek support systems stems from our early experiences. Our need for others depends on the reliability of our caregivers. Insecure attachments can lead us to seek validation and security throughout our lives. Our past pain informs our present needs. However, everyone's needs are unique, so there's no need to feel embarrassed about seeking emotional support. We all come from different backgrounds and require varying levels of support. If you feel you're lacking, it's important to acknowledge the deficiency. Then, you need to work on becoming more secure while building a network of external support. We need to do 4 essential things. Ask for what we need. Be willing to expose our feelings. Say what we want. Slow down and be present. Doing all of this will help us evaluate our current situation and create a plan moving forward, whether that be toward professional help or strengthening current relational supports. Here are some steps you can take. 1. Identify your needs. Reflect on what you're feeling and identify the specific types of support you need, whether it's emotional, practical, or informational. 2. Reach out to trusted people. Connect with friends, family, or colleagues who you trust and can confide in. Share your feelings and let them know how they can help. 3. Join support groups. Look for support groups related to emotional exhaustion or mental health in your community or online. These groups provide a safe space to share experiences and receive encouragement from others who understand what you're going through. Consider professional help. Therapists or counselors can provide personalized support and coping strategies. They can help you navigate through emotional exhaustion in a structured way. 5. Utilize online resources. Many online platforms offer support forums or communities. Websites dedicated to mental health can connect you with others who have similar experiences. 6. Practice self-care. Include self-care activities in your routine, such as mindfulness, exercise, or hobbies. Taking care of yourself helps to build resilience and can make it easier to engage with others. 7. Engage in community activities. Participate in local activities or volunteer opportunities. This can help you build a network while contributing positively to your environment. 8. Educate yourself. Learn more about emotional exhaustion and its signs, symptoms, and coping mechanisms. Understanding your condition can empower you to seek the right support. 9. Set boundaries. Recognize your limits and communicate them to others to prevent additional stress. 10. Be patient. Building a support network takes time. Be open to forming new connections and give yourself grace during this process. In conclusion, emotional exhaustion is real, it's valid, and it's treatable. We don't have to suffer in silence, we don't have to suffer alone, and we don't have to suffer without support. Here are some conclusions and suggestions for someone feeling this way. 1. Acknowledge your feelings. Recognizing that you are experiencing emotional exhaustion is the first step. It is valid to feel overwhelmed, and it's important to accept those feelings. 2. Identify stressors. Reflect on what might be causing your emotional exhaustion. This could be work-related stress, personal relationships, or other life demands. Identifying these stressors can help in finding solutions. 3. Set boundaries. It may be necessary to establish boundaries in various areas of your life. Learn to say no when needed and prioritize your time and energy. Practice self-care. Engage in activities that promote relaxation and rejuvenation. This could include exercise, meditation, reading, or spending time in nature. Prioritizing self-care is crucial for recovery. 5. Seek support. Talking to friends, family, or a mental health professional can provide relief. Sharing your feelings can help lighten the emotional load and provide perspective. 6. Take breaks. Allow yourself time to rest and recharge. Taking short breaks throughout the day can prevent burnout and improve overall well-being. 7. Explore coping strategies. Techniques such as mindfulness, journaling, or creative outlets can help process emotions and reduce stress. 8. Consider professional help. If emotional exhaustion persists, it may be beneficial to consult a mental health professional. They can provide tools and therapies tailored to your needs. Note, some points are mentioned more than once because they're essential in the recovery process. If you've ever felt so drained and depleted that even the simplest tasks can feel overwhelming, you may know a thing or two about emotional exhaustion. Unlike ordinary tiredness, which can be resolved with a good night's sleep, emotional exhaustion saps your energy, enthusiasm, and passion. It's a signal from your body and mind that life is out of balance and can have profound implications for your overall wellness. Emotional exhaustion is feeling overwhelmingly tired or worn out, and not just in the physical sense. It's an emotional and mental fatigue that accumulates over time, often resulting from prolonged exposure to stress or emotional strain. This condition can make you feel like you're just going through the motions of your daily life, disconnected from the experiences and activities that once brought you joy and satisfaction. While sleeping more or taking a break might alleviate normal physical tiredness, it's unlikely to work for emotional exhaustion. The root causes are deeper and more complex, typically linked to ongoing stress, unresolved emotional issues, or unrelenting demands in your personal or professional life. Ignoring emotional exhaustion can cause symptoms to worsen, affecting your mental health, physical health, relationships, and quality of life. By understanding what emotional exhaustion is and recognizing its signs, you can take steps to manage it and help prevent it from becoming more severe. I will share with you a little story for a friend mine that was one of the people who helped from emotional drainage. I will call her Anna. At 32, she had built a successful career as a graphic designer, but the pressures of her job often eclipsed her joy. Each morning she would rise early, the bright light of dawn streaming through her window, yet her heart felt heavy. Life felt like an endless cycle of deadlines, revisions, and meetings that drained her spirit. Outside of work, Anna tried to maintain some semblance of a social life. She would agree to go out with friends or attend events, but she often arrived wearing a mask of happiness. Inside, she felt like a ghost drifting through her own life. The laughter and chatter of others would reverberate around her, but all she could think about was how tired she felt. Emotionally exhausted, as if every interaction sapped another ounce of her energy. One rainy evening, after another long day at work, Anna decided to take a walk in the nearby park. The raindrops fell like tears, and the world was muted in shades of gray. She found a bench under a large oak tree, cradling a steaming cup of tea in her hands. As she sat there, she began to let the weight of her exhaustion seep out, allowing the quiet drumming of the rain to wash over her. It was there that she noticed an elderly man sitting on a nearby bench, eyes closed, with a gentle smile on his face. In that moment, something within her stirred. Despite her emotional fatigue, she felt a warmth radiate from the man's serene expression. Out of curiosity, she approached him, and their conversation unfolded like a delicate flower. He introduced himself as Mr. Thompson and shared stories from his past, tales of joy, loss, and the simple beauty of life. He spoke about the importance of taking time to appreciate small moments and how, in the busy swirl of life, people often forget to connect with their true selves. Anna listened intently. Each word felt like a gentle reminder of the passion that once fueled her life. She confessed her feelings of exhaustion, how she felt lost beneath the weight of expectations, both self-imposed and societal. To her surprise, Mr. Thompson nodded with understanding. He recounted his own struggles and how he had learned to find balance, focusing on what truly mattered: love, connection, and self-care. As they spoke, Anna felt a flicker of hope ignite within her. She realized that the exhaustion she felt was a signal, not a failure. It urged her to reconnect with her passions, to step back and reassess what truly brought her joy. Mr. Thompson encouraged her to embrace her feelings, to seek out creativity outside of work, and most importantly, to forgive herself for not always being okay. When they parted ways, Anna felt lighter. The rain had stopped, and the air was fresh. She walked home with a new sense of purpose, planning ways to infuse her life with joy, spending time painting, writing, and rediscovering what made her smile. Days turned into weeks, and slowly Anna began to heal. Each small act of self-kindness nurtured her spirit. She learned to say no when she needed rest and sought out the company of those who uplifted her. Through this journey, she realized that emotional exhaustion wasn't a destination, but a gentle nudge towards transformation. With each step, she embraced her vulnerability as a part of her story, fueling her resilience and igniting her soul. Anna's life began to flourish, a vivid tapestry woven with the threads of connection, passion, and self-love, reminding her that even in the depths of exhaustion, renewal is always possible. So if you're feeling emotionally drained, it's important to acknowledge that what you're experiencing is valid and significant. Allow yourself the space to feel without judgment. Remember that it's okay to take a step back and prioritize self-care. Surround yourself with supportive people who uplift you, and don't hesitate to communicate how you're feeling. Consider engaging in activities that recharge your spirit, whether that's spending time in nature, practicing mindfulness, or pursuing a passion you love. Most importantly, be gentle with yourself. Healing takes time, and taking small steps towards restoration is perfectly okay. You are worthy of love, energy, and a sense of peace. But before we conclude, let's look at mental health in general. So mental health is a vital aspect of our overall well-being. It refers to our emotional, psychological, and social well-being, and it affects how we think, feel, and behave. Mental health is just as important as physical health, and it's essential to take care of it to maintain a healthy and balanced life. Good mental health enables us to 1. Handle life's challenges and stressors. 2. Build strong relationships with others. 3. Make healthy choices and decisions. 4. Feel happy, fulfilled, and content. 5. Reach our full potential and achieve our goals. On the other hand, poor mental health can lead to 1. Mental illnesses like depression, anxiety, and bipolar disorder. 2. Difficulty sleeping, eating, or concentrating. 3. Strained relationships with family and friends. 4. Decreased productivity and performance. 5. Increased risk of chronic diseases like diabetes, heart disease, and obesity. There are many factors that can affect our mental health, including 1. Genetics and family history. 2. Life experiences such as trauma or abuse. 3. Brain chemistry and hormonal imbalances. 4. Social and environmental factors like poverty, discrimination, or social isolation. 5. Lifestyle choices such as substance abuse or poor diet and exercise habits. The causes of mental health issues are complex and multifaceted. There is no single cause, but rather a combination of genetic, environmental, and psychological factors that can contribute to the development of mental health conditions. Here are some of the possible causes. Genetic factors. 1. Family history. Mental health conditions can run in families, suggesting a possible genetic link. 2. Genetic mutations. Certain genetic mutations can increase the risk of developing mental health conditions. 3. Brain chemistry. Imbalances in brain chemistry, such as serotonin and dopamine, can contribute to mental health conditions. Environmental factors. 1. Trauma. Experiencing traumatic events, such as abuse, neglect, or loss, can increase the risk of developing mental health conditions. 2. Stress. Chronic stress, whether due to work, relationships, or other factors, can contribute to mental health conditions. 3. Social isolation. Lack of social connections and support can increase the risk of developing mental health conditions. 4. Poverty and socioeconomic factors. Living in poverty or experiencing socioeconomic disadvantage can increase the risk of developing mental health conditions. 5. Bullying and harassment. Experiencing bullying and harassment can increase the risk of developing mental health conditions. Psychological factors. 1. Negative thought patterns. Negative and distorted thinking patterns can contribute to mental health conditions. 2. Low self-esteem. Poor self-esteem and self-confidence can increase the risk of developing mental health conditions. 3. Lack of coping skills. Poor coping skills and inability to manage stress can contribute to mental health conditions. 4. Substance abuse. Substance abuse can contribute to mental health conditions, such as depression and anxiety. Neurobiological factors. 1. Brain structure and function. Abnormalities in brain structure and function, such as reduced hippocampal volume, can contribute to mental health conditions. 2. Neurotransmitter imbalance. Imbalances in neurotransmitters, such as serotonin and dopamine, can contribute to mental health conditions. 3. Hormonal imbalance. Hormonal imbalances, such as thyroid disorders, can contribute to mental health conditions. Other factors. 1. Medical conditions. Certain medical conditions, such as chronic illness or pain, can increase the risk of developing mental health conditions. 2. Medications. Certain medications, such as steroids and beta blockers, can contribute to mental health conditions. 3. Sleep disturbances. Sleep disturbances, such as insomnia or sleep apnea, can contribute to mental health conditions. The symptoms of mental health conditions can vary widely depending on the specific condition, its severity, and the individual experiencing it. Here are some common symptoms of mental health conditions. Common symptoms. 1. Mood changes. Persistent feelings of sadness, hopelessness, irritability, anxiety, or mood swings. 2. Changes in appetite or sleep. Changes in appetite or sleep patterns, such as insomnia or oversleeping. 3. Fatigue or loss of energy. Feeling tired, sluggish, or lacking energy. 4th, difficulty concentrating, trouble focusing, making decisions, or paying attention. 5. Social withdrawal, avoiding social interactions, feeling isolated or disconnected from others. 6. Physical symptoms, headaches, stomach problems, or other physical complaints without a clear medical cause. 7. Substance abuse, using substances like alcohol or drugs to cope with emotions or stress. 8. Thoughts of self-harm, having thoughts of harming oneself or others. Symptoms of specific mental health conditions. 1. Depression, persistent sadness, loss of interest in activities, changes in appetite or sleep, fatigue, difficulty concentrating. 2. Anxiety, excessive worry, fear, or anxiety, restlessness, irritability, difficulty sleeping. 3. Bipolar disorder, extreme mood swings, ranging from manic highs to depressive lows. 4th, post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, flashbacks, nightmares, avoidance of triggers, hypervigilance. 5. Schizophrenia, hallucinations, delusions, disorganized thinking, lack of motivation. 6. Eating disorders, restrictive eating, binging, purging, excessive exercise. 7. Attention deficit, hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, difficulty paying attention, impulsivity, hyperactivity. Warning signs. 1. Withdrawal from social activities, avoiding social interactions or events. 2. Changes in behavior, engaging in reckless or impulsive behavior. 3. Mood swings, experiencing extreme mood swings. 4. Physical complaints, reporting unexplained physical complaints. 5. Substance abuse, using substances to cope with emotions or stress. The treatment of mental health conditions typically involves a combination of psychotherapy, medication, and lifestyle changes. The goal of treatment is to help individuals manage their symptoms, improve their mental health, and enhance their overall quality of life. Psychotherapy. Psychotherapy, also known as talk therapy, is a type of treatment that involves talking with a mental health professional to learn how to manage symptoms and improve mental health. There are many different types of psychotherapy, including 1. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. Helps individuals identify and change negative thought patterns and behaviors. 2. Dialectical behavior therapy, DBT. Helps individuals manage emotions and develop coping skills. 3. Psychodynamic therapy. Helps individuals understand and resolve unconscious conflicts and feelings. 4th, family therapy. Helps individuals and their families understand and manage mental health conditions. 5. Group therapy. Provides a supportive environment where individuals can share experiences and learn from others. Medication can be an effective treatment for mental health conditions, especially when used in combination with psychotherapy. There are many different types of medication, including 1. Antidepressants. Help manage symptoms of depression, anxiety, and other conditions. 2. Mood stabilizers. Help manage symptoms of bipolar disorder and other conditions. 3. Antipsychotics. Help manage symptoms of schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, and other conditions. 4. Anti-anxiety medications. Help manage symptoms of anxiety disorders. Lifestyle changes. Lifestyle changes can also play an important role in managing mental health conditions. These changes may include 1. Exercise. Regular exercise can help reduce symptoms of anxiety and depression. 2. Healthy eating. A healthy diet can help support mental health. 3. Sleep. Getting enough sleep is essential for mental health. 4th, stress management. Learning healthy stress management techniques, such as meditation or deep breathing, can help reduce symptoms of anxiety and depression. 5. Social support. Building a strong support network of friends, family, and mental health professionals can help individuals manage mental health conditions. Alternative therapies. Some people may also find alternative therapies helpful in managing mental health conditions. These therapies may include 1. Mindfulness-based therapies. Help individuals develop mindfulness skills and reduce symptoms of anxiety and depression. 2. Art therapy. Provides a creative outlet for individuals to express emotions and manage symptoms. 3. Music therapy. Uses music to help individuals manage symptoms and improve mental health. 4. Animal-assisted therapy. Provides a supportive environment where individuals can interact with animals and manage symptoms. Self-help strategies. In addition to seeking professional help, individuals can also use self-help strategies to manage mental health conditions. These strategies may include 1. Keeping a journal. Helps individuals track symptoms and identify patterns. 2. Practicing self-care. Encourages individuals to prioritize self-care and engage in activities that bring joy and relaxation. 3. Building a support network. Helps individuals connect with others who understand and can provide support. 4. Learning relaxation techniques. Helps individuals manage stress and reduce symptoms of anxiety and depression. There are so many ways to get help for mental health. Here are some options. Professional help 1. Therapy. Talk to a therapist, counselor, or psychologist to address mental health concerns. 2. Psychiatry. Consult with a psychiatrist for medication management and treatment. 3. Mental health clinics. Visit community mental health clinics for affordable treatment options. Support groups 1. In-person groups. Join local support groups to connect with others who share similar experiences. 2. Online forums. Participate in online forums and discussion boards to connect with others worldwide. 3. Support hotlines. Call support hotlines for immediate guidance and support. Online resources 1. Mental health websites. Visit reputable websites like NAMI, APA, and Mental Health America for information and resources. 2. Mobile apps. Utilize mental health apps like Calm, Headspace, and Mood Tools for self-care and management. 3. Online therapy platforms. Access online therapy platforms like BetterHelp and Talkspace for convenient treatment, self-help strategies, or more. Mindfulness and meditation. Practice mindfulness and meditation to reduce stress and anxiety. 2. Exercise and physical activity. Engage in regular exercise to improve mood and overall well-being. 3. Journaling and creative expression. Use journaling and creative expression to process emotions and gain insight. Emergency resources. 1. National Suicide Prevention. Lifeline. Call 1-800-273-TALK-8255 for immediate support. 2. Crisis text line. Text HOME to 741741 for crisis support. 3. Emergency services. Call 911 or local emergency services for immediate assistance. Remember, taking care of your mental health is essential. Don't be afraid to reach out for help, prioritize self-care, and practice self-compassion. You are not alone, and together we can break the stigma surrounding mental health. Emotional exhaustion and mental health struggles are real, but there is hope. By sharing our stories, supporting one another, and seeking help when needed, we can heal, grow, and thrive. Keep shining your light, and know that you are loved, valued, and deserving of care. As we conclude this video, I want to leave you with a reminder that mental health matters. It's okay to not be okay, and it's okay to ask for help. Take care of yourself, take care of others, and let's work together to create a more compassionate and supportive community. Take a moment to check in with yourself and those around you. Self-care isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Whether it's through talking to someone, practicing mindfulness, or simply taking a break, every step counts. If you're struggling with emotional exhaustion or mental health issues, know that I see you, I hear you, and I believe you. You are not alone, and your feelings are valid. Keep pushing forward even when it's hard, and know that better days are ahead. Remember, you can't pour from an empty cup. Take care of yourself, prioritize your mental health, and know that you are worthy of love, care, and compassion. We can seek help, we can seek support, and we can seek healing. So let's break the stigma surrounding mental health, let's break the silence surrounding emotional exhaustion, and let's start talking, start sharing, and start healing. Thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and thank you for being part of this journey with me. Remember, you are not alone, and you are not alone in this fight. Don't forget to share this video to someone who might need it. And please give a thumbs up if you liked the video, and remember to subscribe to our channel, The Abouts, for more useful content like this.